Hi, I'm Steve Sapato, and you're listening to Love is Never Enough podcast. This is the introduction to a course that I offer. This is also a podcast that I want you to start tuning into. It's all about how do we find a relationship that works. I wrote the book, The 20. If you went to Amazon.com right now, you would have to look it up by Steve Sapato in order to find The 20. You'd have to look it up by author name Steve Sapato. And what I want you to understand is I wrote that book partially out of my frustration with not being able to find love, and partially out of my frustration with having jumped into two loves that just never worked out. And I couldn't figure out why. So I interviewed more than 2,400 people who were in and out of relationships over a 2 year period of time, just so I could figure out what made love work and what didn't make it work. So I want you to join me on a regular basis. Join me every week while we talk about love and a loving relationship. If you have questions, drop them to me at stevesapato.com, or you can go ahead and subscribe to this podcast so that you can get in touch with yourself and the people around you to find out how you can find love. Isn't that what you want to do? Want to find more love, more relationships? You want to find a stronger, long lasting relationship? That's what it's all about. So that's what I wanted to share with you on this first podcast. Short and sweet is, what will it take for you to find love? I have counseled with lots of people over the years, and some of the things that we struggle with. I remember talking to one woman, and she's like, I never find the right person, Steve. I just can't do it. I'll date somebody for a while, and they're this person for a while. And then it seems like after 3 or 4 months, they start turning into someone else. And she couldn't figure that out. We will delve into those kind of issues. Talked with another woman who she was struggling with she could do was, after a 2 year relationship ended, she kept saying all he was after was sex. All he was after was sex. Really? 2 years and all he was after was sex? He spent 2 years with you just to have sex, huh? Well, then you were a lucky woman if you enjoyed it. And I asked her, I said, wait, let me ask you a question. Did you like making love to that person? And she went, absolutely. I said, that's why you stayed in it for 2 years? She said, it was fabulous. And she said, but then he broke it off and all he wanted was sex. I went, did you stop giving him sex so he broke it off? And she said, no. I went, did you enjoy the sex? She said, of course. I said, you know what? You can look at it the way you want to look at it, but in truth, it looks like. And then we had a long conversation about what happened with the relationship, why it ended. Because you know what? Sometimes we just fall out of love. Have you guys found that to be true? You can be passionately, wildly crazy about somebody, and 3 months later, I don't even find them attractive. They're irritating the heck out of me. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 years. Unfortunately, people allow their relationships to fade. We'll talk about all of that over the coming weeks when we talk about what it takes to find and keep a loving relationship. Would you like to find that relationship? Again, drop me a message, drop me your questions to steve@stevesapato.com. I'll be doing a workshop too. If you want to jump in and work with me on a 6-month basis and help me coach you and learn, that'd be great. I can set up a program for that. But I have an event coming up that's just a 2 hour event to talk strictly about love on a Zoom call. So if you want that, that'll be in the information down below also, where you can join in, spend 2 hours really learning about love. Now, will it cost you? Of course it'll cost you. If I could help you find the love of your life in a 2 hour workshop, would it be worth something to you? I hope so, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? For me to help you, to help yourself find that loving, long lasting relationship. And a lot of people say, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to get into it anymore. I may listen to your stupid podcast, but I'm not going to fall in love again. Okay, don't. That's up to you. Some people have been hurt so bad so often. And I always said, I mean, I was married 9 years the first time, 21 years in a horrible relationship the second time. And then I was single for almost 11 years. And I tell people, hey, maybe your picker's broken. One of the things that my friends told me is, Steve, you have the wounded bird syndrome. I went, what is that? And they go, you always pick a partner, right, who has something wrong and you think you can fix them. And you know what? That's true. I love helping people. That's why I'm doing this podcast. That's why I offer my services. I love fixing people. I love helping people find the things that's missing. I remember dating a woman who was horribly abused. And all she could do was cry at times. I'd hold her in my arms and she would just cry about the abuse she'd suffered and how she was so happy she found me. And then, you know what? After a while, she made me promise certain things, and you promise, and then 4 months later, 5 months, I forget now. It's been long ago, but it didn't last. She actually said, "See ya, goodbye." After all the stuff I helped her through, all the stuff, and you know what? Whose fault was that? It was mine, because I'd picked a wounded bird, got it healthy, and set it free. I didn't recognize at the time, but that's what a lot of us do, don't we? We pick on people who have a major problem that we think we can fix, and then when they get it fixed, when they fix it, you fix it, and then they suddenly don't need us anymore. What a surprise! So anyway, this quick, nice little podcast is designed to help you subscribe. Again, write to me at steve@stevesapato.com or put something in the comments, and I will answer your questions, and then I will also encourage you. Go take the course. It's a 2-hour course. It might last 3 or 4 hours, but it starts off as a 2-hour course where I'm teaching you how to make your loving relationship a forever relationship. How much is that worth to you? Right? Click on the stuff below and let's get involved in a deep level. And then I want you as one of my team. I want you to share the accolades of how much the love you found. Now, how long will it take you to find love? Oh, well, it took me almost 11 years. When I found out the secrets to finding the forever love, right? When I found them, you have to agree, would it be right for you to find a long lasting forever love? How long would it take? Well, are you in a hurry? How long? How old are you now? How long has it taken you up to now? Because some of you will be 21, 22 and absolutely devastated because you were so broken up that your long-lasting relationship of 2 or 4 or 5 years has ended. That's all right. You got plenty of time left. Now, if you're 70, 60, 70 years old, you think, no love's going to happen. Well, you've read those articles where the 90-year-olds find people to fall in love with and get married at 90 years old. You see, what are you looking for in your next relationship? And again, some of you are going to be screaming, I don't want another relationship, Steve. I just want to hear you talk about love and relationships. I want to hear you answer questions about love and relationships because I want to prove you wrong. I want you to be that guy. But it's okay. You see, one of the things I've learned is that we all have our own journeys to make. And the journey in love is a difficult journey because we all have been taught that it's a fairy tale. We've all been taught that falling in love is magical. We've all been taught through the movies and all the stuff we've seen that you'll have a happily ever after. And it's not like that. Love is a skill. Most people don't understand that. You say, well, no, I fall in love, Steve. I have people tell me all kinds of stuff. God will find me a partner. I don't need your stupid course. Go for it. Here's what I will tell you again, though, is that most of us need to learn how to love. And unfortunately, the people who taught us how to love, whether it's our parents or our siblings or anybody involved in our lives, haven't always known how to love either. So learning the skills that will help you find love and keep love is what this podcast and the courses I offer are all about. Want to work with me personally for a year so that I can help you discover. I've told people over the years, I remember working with one client, and I won't tell you how it goes, but I just said, okay, the next guy you meet, you can't sleep with for 3 months. And she thought I'd lost my mind. She said, no way am I going to wait 3 months to have sex. I went, well, you're a man's dream come true. But the problem is that once we have those relationships, things happen. And we'll talk about all that as we go through this wonderful thing called a podcast about love. Love is never enough. Sex is never enough, right? Friendship is never enough. It takes a combination of everything, and you probably won't have a happily ever after, although you might have a lovingly ever after. Happily ever after indicates a fairy tale, and I want you to get past that. Love is work. Love is hard work. Love is getting to know, getting to understand, getting to feel, and sharing. Once you find that with someone else, you have to work on it to keep it. Anyway, I'm Steve Sapato. If you have questions about love, write to me at steve@stevesapato.com. You can go to my website, stevesapato.com, and you'll see I haven't updated in a while because I'm just doing other things. But I wanted to let you know you can go there and don't subscribe to the newsletter because I just can't figure out how to do a newsletter on a monthly basis. Instead, come to the podcast and I'll be glad to have you here. Steve at stevesapato.com. I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed week and a blessed month. Now, the rest we'll work on. God bless.